folks, and welcome back to the Grumpy Gamer channel. That's it, you guessed it. This is that channel where you get to see this old git talk about modern games. So for today's in-car comments, was Monday the 10th of June today. I hope you played some fantastic games over the weekend. I didn't get to play too much, unfortunately. I did a couple of races, GT7, etc. But what I actually wanted to talk about today, first thing, was the Xbox showcase. What can I say about this? I actually think it was a really good showcase. I think there was some really good looking games coming up from Xbox, what I can see. I mean, the thing is, because I play VR so much and very rarely play flat screen games, you sort of forget how good graphically flat screen games look. So there was some real bangers that they showed yesterday when I watched the showcase. Yeah, there was some really good looking games. I mean, the one for me that really stood out had to be Gears 6. Now, we only just see a little bit of a cinematic trailer. It's called E-Day, so it obviously takes place on the day the Locusts emerge, rather than like Gears 1 was set just a bit after. So this literally covers Emergence Day. Now, I'm super excited for this one. You guys may or may not know, I'm a massive fan of Gears. I've liked Gears since the very beginning. I've got lots of Gears memorabilia. I put up some pictures for you. There's a couple of pictures of some of my stuff. I've got pictures there of my Lancer that was originally gold and I repainted it. I kept it up on my study wall for, crikey, 10 years maybe, in gold, and always said I was going to get round to painting it, and finally I did. So I've got all the Gears of War books written by Karen Travis. I've got all the Gears of War's figures. I've got cog tags. I've got so much stuff of Gears of War. I just absolutely love the franchise. Went a little bit weird around Gears 4. That wasn't such a great one. Gears 5, really enjoyed that. Almost like open world areas, you know, it was, yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Not sure what this one's going to be like. Hopefully it will be an absolute banger and it will really get Gears of War back on track. So if anything, for me, Gears 6 is definitely a game that's worth owning an Xbox for, you know, a Series X. Definitely worth it finally, but that's just my opinion. Had a look at the Call of Duty. Now, as you know, I'm not a massive fan of Call of Duty anymore. I've played all of the campaigns, don't play multiplayer anymore. Have a little dabble in zombies every now and again when I buy a COD that's got it. Yeah, but the last one, Modern Warfare 3, as I've said before, I didn't even go anywhere near that one. Wasn't interested in playing that campaign that lasts about 3 hours. Just, no, I'm not doing it. But actually, what interested me about this new COD is this new movement system they've added in, because it's always been a frustration for me. You're supposed to be a crack soldier, but you can't run further than 10 yards without getting out of breath, like you're flipping asthmatic. And the movement's very stilted, whilst now it seems like you can run in any direction, backwards, forwards, sideways, you can leap, and so the movement looks to be a lot better, and they've really upgraded that. Whether the game's going to be any good, I don't know. I did hear one rumour which surely can't be true, and that is that possibly one of the single player missions is based around 9/11. Now, I don't see how that's going to work really, because it's, you know, you probably remember from the original Modern Warfare 2, there was the level called No Russian, where you actually play as the terrorists and you go into an airport and you're just mowing civilians down left, right and center. It's a very graphic level. It does give you the option when you start the game to actually skip that, because that's how sort of graphic it is. But it's like, how are they going to work this one? In 9/11, that was all about planes. So you're not going to play as the terrorists, because they literally just flew into the planes and died along with everybody else. So how would they use 9/11 as a backdrop? Would 9/11, would the buildings be coming down in the background and you're obviously trying to fight some other terrorists? I don't know. Personally, I don't think it would be a good idea. you know, yes, it's over 20 years ago now, but it's still very raw for a lot of people. A lot of people lost a lot of family, obviously. I mean, I can remember when 9/11 happened. I can remember it like it was yesterday. Now, it felt very personal to me. I'm not an American, but it felt very personal, more than the average Joe, I suppose, over here in the UK, purely because I've actually been up the Twin Towers. I've stood out. I think it was the South Tower that had the walkway up outside. You go up and walk around. And I saw how absolutely humongous those buildings were. Each floor was an acre in size. I mean, they were just huge. You stood outside and you looked up at those buildings. And I remember, I just couldn't believe how big they were. They were just so huge, 1/4 mile high. Yeah, they were iconic buildings. I mean, they weren't liked at all when they first went up. There was jokes made about them being actually, they're the boxes that the Empire State and the Chrysler Building came in. But the Americans actually then grew to love them, and they were iconic on the New York skyline, on the Manhattan skyline. So because I'd actually been to them and been up them and seen how magnificent these buildings were, when 9/11 happened, I was in Portugal at the time on holiday, and watching those buildings coming down, I couldn't believe it. You know, if I'd never been to them, never seen them other than on the television, I probably wouldn't have, I'd have been shocked, of course I would, but it wouldn't have hit me as hard, I don't think, as because I've actually been and seen them, and just couldn't believe that they'd come down. So, you know, I think if they are going to do this mission, if there is a mission around 9/11, I think it has to be done extremely respectfully. Personally, I'd just leave that. I wouldn't go near that at all. You know, maybe in another 25 years, maybe you could do something, you know, more with it. You may recall there was a movie came out with Nicolas Cage some time ago called 9/11, and it was about the fireman that got trapped under the rubble, and it was done very respectfully. They didn't make a big thing of the actual event itself. They didn't glamorize the actual event itself, which is good. And I think it's just one of those that, yeah, if you don't do it right, it could badly backfire. It may just still be a rumor, like I say. You know what rumors are like, but I just thought I'd talk to you guys about it, see what your thoughts are. What do you think? Do you think this is a good idea, having a level around 9/11, or do you think they should? No, definitely not. But anyway, like I say, it's just a rumor. It may not turn out to be true. We'll just have to wait and see. But as for the actual game, it's actually sort of piqued my interest that I might have a look at this Call of Duty. I might do. You know, all depends the length of the campaign. If it's another 3-hour campaign, get it out of my face, not interested. If it's at least 6 hours and it looks good, then yeah, maybe I'll give it a try. Now, like I say, overall, the showcase was really good. And I think it's really going to give Sony a kick up the backside, because look at the state of play that we had the other week. I mean, that was so lackluster. Okay, it wasn't a full showcase, and apparently we're getting a full showcase around September time from Sony. So this gives Sony some time now to really pull things out the bag, to try and keep up with the Xbox showcase. Like I say, I was really pleasantly surprised. One thing I will say, there's one game, I can't remember the name of it, but I thought, my God, the frame rate looks awful. Graphics look lovely, but the frame rate was really, really choppy. And I found out that actually the characters in the game are being rendered in like 15 frames a second, but the rest of the game is running at 30, and they've done that on purpose. That's the look they're going for. But yeah, I didn't like the look of that at all. I mean, as you know, playing VR, most games you're playing at either 90 Hertz native or 120 reprojected. So you're used to those high frame rates. So when you go back and see single player games at 30, you can really see it's choppy, even when they are 30, not rendered down at 15 frames a second or something. Because some of the other games that were on there, again, look fantastic, but you could really see the lower frame rates. They really stood out to me. But like I say, that's just because I'm used to much higher frame rates in VR, I suppose. But that's not to take away from the games themselves. Some of them looked fantastic. I won't bother naming them because I haven't got them written down anywhere and I've forgotten. But it did look a really, really good showcase. And like I say, if you're thinking about getting a Series X, yeah, I think over this next year is a good time to save up your pennies and get one. Yeah, especially with Gears 6. Cannot wait for that game to come out. Now, this week on Wednesday, Kayak Mirage is getting an update. Now, bear in mind that about a year ago when I started playing it, when I picked it up, they were saying that there was going to be a Whitewater Rapids add-on to this game. Now, this update is coming, so literally we're a year further down the line. They've said this update is coming on Wednesday, but they haven't told us what it is. So I don't think it's just a few simple improvements or some extra races or something like that. I think it's bigger than that. I am seriously keeping my fingers crossed that it is the Whitewater Rapids update. Now, I think if they can get that to work properly, I think that'll be awesome fun. And I'll be diving straight back into that. But of course, like I say, they haven't told us what it is yet. So we're just going to have to wait until Wednesday. So I am excited for that one without a shadow of a doubt. Now, you know there's a game coming, hopefully the end of this year. I think it is around Christmas time. Alien Rogue Incursion. And, okay, it's in the title, but I have heard that it's a roguelike game, which has disappointed me a bit, to be fair. I was hoping it was going to be more like a campaign like Alien Isolation, but it doesn't seem to be the case. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but again, Rogue is in the title, so that sort of does give it away a bit, that it is going to be a roguelike. I'm sure it's still going to be an enjoyable game. You know, obviously with roguelikes, every time you die and go back in, things change, maybe the environment changes, the enemies come out in different places, whatever. So each run is different. I'm sure it's going to be really, really enjoyable. But like I say, yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed. I did want it to be more of a full campaign, to be fair. Oh, and one last thing, actually, before I go, folks, is yesterday came an update, the first level, I think, in this new update for Pistol Whip. Now, I didn't get a chance yesterday to dive in, but I am going to dive in later on tonight. I'll stream it on Twitch anyway, so you guys can see the new level for Pistol Whip. Now, they're all based on like hard rock tracks. I can't remember the names of the tracks that they put in. Apparently, there's 3 new levels. The first one's dropped yesterday, and I'm not sure when the next 2 are being dropped. But yeah, I'm looking forward to diving back into that. If you've never played Pistol Whip, it is a fantastic rhythm action game. It gives you a great workout, trust me, and it's a lot of fun. All you have to think of is John Wick. If you want to feel like John Wick, then yeah, get Pistol Whip, and I don't think it's that expensive on the store anymore, so it's definitely worth picking up. Now, that's it for today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please give it a like if you've enjoyed the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and also if you know anybody that might be interested in my nonsense content, then please do give it a share. So until next time, folks, I shall see you guys on the other side. Adios.